I'm joined here today by One Championship's own Brandon Vera, who's going to be fighting in October. Brandon, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, brother. Cannot complain. Don't worry, I'm not driving. I'm the passenger in this ride.
I'm glad to hear that. I
So
was
I'm
a
not I'm
little
not
bit
doing the
worried.
interview and driving.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little bit worried, but we're glad to hear you're safe and keeping the good habits. So, if I understand correctly, are you currently in California?
We are in San Diego, California. Yes, sir. Right now.
And so, why are you back in California? Are you there for training, taking a trip, or what's going on there?
A lot of different things. Training, visit family, close out some business stuff that I had to do here, and lining up things for Alliance Training Center in the Philippines. So I, it's not really just a vacation trip. It's a working trip and training trip.
That sounds good. How long has it been since you've been back to the U.S.? Because I know you moved to the Philippines a little while ago.
It's been a while since we've been back to the U.S. Maybe 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Well, technically, it's been 3 or 4 years since we've been back to the mainland.
Ah,
Uh, we've been to the U.S. because we go to Guam every month from the Philippines.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of counts, but you
Technically, for all the technical folks out there.
said it's been 3, 4 years since you've been back to the mainland, back in California. How weird was it for you, coming back after such a long, I guess you could say layoff?
It's definitely different. The mainland is definitely different than the islands. I love it and hate it at the same time. Uh, I miss the islands already. I miss being back on that vibe. But it's really, really good seeing all the people here. Really, really good seeing all the people. So it's like bittersweet, I guess.
So was it difficult for you switching countries like that completely? I mean, we do know you are originally from the Philippines, but I assume it was a big change, just kind of changing your entire life like that.
I'm not originally from the Philippines. I'm actually Filipino. I have Filipino blood. I was born in the States. I'm a dual citizen, so I'm a citizen of both countries now.
Okay,
But
okay.
moving from the U.S. to anywhere is definitely a huge, huge difference. Uh, and the biggest fact is because in America we're spoiled. We're spoiled here. Everything's convenient. Everything's 24 hours, and everything is readily available all the time. And in other countries, it's not like that. All other countries, it's not like that. So adjusting to that was definitely hard. I'm having to plan more. Traffic, there's no traffic like there is in Southeast Asia. Traffic is 4 hours to 8 hours of your day, every day.
Ugh.
Uh, unless Manny Pacquiao's fighting, Senator Manny Pacquiao's fighting,
Yeah.
then there's no traffic. But adjusting to the Asian culture, the Asian grind, and the Asian lifestyle was challenging. But once we started embracing it and started applying and actually started understanding the traditions and the values and why things are done a certain way, man, our life has been on fire in Asia ever since. So
For
I
sure.
cannot complain. I really can't complain. It just took a lot of adjusting, and I guess you can say growing up. I had to grow up, I guess.
That makes sense. I know while you're in California, we saw you do a little bit of media. We saw you on the Food Truck Diaries with Brendan Schaub. What was that experience like?
Oh man, Brendan Schaub is super cool cat, very down to earth. Everybody I've been talking to and meeting out here has been the same way. But Brendan Schaub is such a nice guy, man, and it was very good to see Brendan doing so very well for himself. And when I say very well, I'm not talking about just monetarily. I'm talking about life after competing in competitions. He he's happy. It's good to see him smile. It's good to see him busy and moving around and actually having a good time doing what he's doing. So it's really good to see our brothers at arms, sisters at arms, finding life and happiness outside of this small world that we have. So it was an amazing experience. I would love to do it again. I'd love to get Brendan out in Asia somehow. Hashtag just saying.
I was looking at some of the comments, and because I'm always curious to see how people respond to fighters, but it looks like people were very positive towards you. They were saying didn't realize you're such a great guy, such a fun guy, nicest guy in the world, stuff like that. I don't know if you got a chance to see that. Do you feel like that did a lot of good for you, sort of, with your image?
I've never actually worried about my image before. I'm just me. I'm just me. That's how I ended up getting the nickname. So I guess if everybody says that I'm a nice guy, then that's a good thing.
Yeah.
If everybody likes me and says I'm kind of smart, then that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I always told everybody I'm not the smart Asian. That's why I'm the fighting Asian. That's why I'm the competing Asian.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But that's awesome. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the love, guys.
Yeah. I am curious about the food though, because I feel like we watch there's this 30-minute episode. For 25 minutes we're waiting for the food, and then the last 5 minutes you guys are finally eating, which I know is frustrating for me, and I didn't even get to eat the food. Was that frustrating for you?
No, not frustrating at all. It's just part of the gig, The chefs were making the food fresh. All the ingredients were really, really, really fresh, and he made everything from scratch right then and there. And it was shooting set times are different than the real TV times that you see. So we were there super early. So man, it worked out perfectly. I wouldn't complain, and I don't think we would have been able to talk about as much if we were eating the whole time. So it was perfect timing at the end.
And let's talk about your fight a little bit. First things first, it's happening in October. I feel like this got announced super early. Why did it get announced so early?
I think maybe because it's a very big event for us as athletes and one as a company. You have two champions going against each other and competing in one of the biggest stages in the world on the centennial event for this giant company. It's a big deal. I guess all of it is a big deal. And for me, I never think about that outside stuff until somebody asks. But I understand why you're curious why they announced so early, and I would imagine that's part of it. They've been thinking and developing this event that's happening October 13th in Tokyo for a long time. And this is just part of what one championship does. One makes things smooth, they make things how they're supposed to be, and they plan things. Should plan things. This is how it's supposed to be. And it just worked out that way, I guess.
And so how does that affect your training camp? Because I know when guys, they have too long of a training camp, sometimes they're worried about injuries and stuff like that. How does that affect your preparation for this fight, knowing the date, knowing the opponent, just so early?
It doesn't change anything. It's kind of how I've been training since I moved to Asia. I train every day, all day. Things just get more and more specific as the event gets closer, and we just start to tighten the screws and tighten the defenses when we get to our event date. But other than that, nothing changes. I'm still always drilling. I'm still always doing everything. The only thing that probably picks up and changes is the sprints and the strength and conditioning changes when camp starts. And that's never fun, ever. Even when you're in shape, sprints and strength and conditioning is not fun.
For sure, man. Let's talk about your opponent a little bit. First things first, I think you have the pronunciation down. What's the correct way to say his name?
Angla Angsa.
And we're going to leave it at that. I'm not going to try to say we got the correct one. We'll stick with the correct one. What are your thoughts on your opponent as you head into this fight?
My thoughts on my opponent head into this fight. Angla is the type of man that everyone in the world should aspire to be. From his heart to his mind to... I watch how he raises his son online, to how he handles and presents himself as a champ, and an ambassador of a very hard sport. The world should strive to be like him. That's my thoughts on him.
For sure, a great answer with the respect for your opponent. Is it kind of intimidating? Because I feel like he has the statue they built for him back in his home country. He's got a whole country behind him. Is that sort of on your mind? How many people are sort of rooting for him out there? Or does it just not matter because you're here to do your job and get the W?
Nah. So your two things are wrong. I never worry about what someone else has or what they don't have. That's what's wrong with the world today. Everybody's always worried about everyone else. The only thing you can control is you and what you're doing. So I don't worry about his statue. I don't worry about who's supporting him. I don't worry about his training partners. I just do me. I just keep doing me. And me is not about getting the W. I think that is one of the most horrendous things to hear in our sport. And I do understand the aspect of it, I understand the concept, and I understand the need to get the W sometimes. But for me, when you compete to just get the W, you're taking something away from the world. You're taking something away from the fans. You're taking something away from everyone that's put something into you. Because in all honesty, you're just trying to slide by. Because in your words, and we've heard this before. We hear it during matches. We hear coaches tell other athletes that. Just get the W. Just get the W. Slide. And there's times where, man, the match is close. The event is that close that you might have to skate. I understand the need for it. But we have to stop saying that. We have to stop teaching that. It's not acceptable. That should be like the backup of the backup plan. When I go out there, I'm out there to put on a show. I want to show you what I've done with myself for the past 20 years. I want to show you what I've done in condition and refined for the past 12 weeks to put in front of you. I want to show you why I deserve to be a champion. I want to put on a show. And I think that should be the goal of every mixed martial artist, every martial artist that gets the chance to be able to compete for one championship. Or any organization on the world stage. If this is your job, that's what we should be doing, putting on a show. Show up to do your job. Don't show up to get the W. That's the backup to the backup plan.
At what point in your career did you develop this mentality? Have you had this the whole time you've been fighting, or did you discover this later on?
Did I develop what? Sorry.
This mentality of, not just grabbing the win, but going out there, doing your job, putting on a show, and doing it for the fans.
Okay. This came to me when I moved to Asia and actually fell in love with the company that I'm with. It's that's part of it, and part of it actually is living in Asia and learning to appreciate everything that you have in front of you, not everything you wish for or desire. It took, I had to grow up, I had to learn.
And it's interesting because it seems like moving to Asia has kind of changed your whole mentality since we've seen you, back with the UFC. Now that you're with one championship, what is it exactly that has? Is it just the whole changing countries and everything? What exactly has it that sort of changed your entire mentality?
So, trying not to talk smack. No, it's gonna be smack talk. Lucas, how young are you?
I am turning 22 in September.
22. What was the question you asked me before?
You believed it was about changing mentalities after moving to Asia?
That's what it is. So, I grew up like American. I just grew up American. Grew up super American. But that style of thought process and workload works in America, but it didn't work anywhere else. It doesn't work in the rest of the world. So that was part of the growth, learning and growing up in Asia. But a giant factor, I would say 50% of it is, how many jobs have you had, Lucas, at 20 years old?
Does that count like internships and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. All of that stuff, all of them.
I don't know, 5 give or take, including this one currently with Sherdog. You know, shout out to them.
Shout out to Sherdog. Thank you for hiring our boy Lucas. He's
There we
very
go.
amazing in his job. So
Thanks, Sherd.
Lucas, have you had an employer that you absolutely loathe? Somebody that you hate? Somebody you can't stand the sight of? Somebody that makes you want to foot jab him every time you see him?
Yeah, you know, a good foot in the ass. I feel like that would put everything back in their place. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know, so now imagine you work for a company like that. And you have to talk to them all the time. And especially during fight week, there's always some kind of BS speech about something again. You know, I absolutely loathe the people, the style of business, all of it. I didn't like any of it. And so I guess mentally I just wasn't there. I was checked out a long time ago. I just didn't care. I didn't care about, I didn't respect the company enough to respect myself and respect the position that I was in. To do the training that I needed to do, to be serious about this profession that we are in, to call myself a true martial artist. And now I have to. I want to. I'm scared not to now.
Is it fair to say that the word you found with one championship is passion?
I would say I found home.
There we go.
Found home.
All right, listen. I want to end it on this. Just 2 more for you. What are you sort of expecting out of this fight? Like, can we expect a brawl? Can we expect something exciting? I know it's still early. And last, how do you get the W in this one? Even though that's not important, that's not what we're focusing on. But how do you get your hand raised?
You know, I honestly believe. Sorry. Athlete ears. Hold on. They're not staying in. So, I think for me to get the W, I would have to finish Mr. Ongla Angsad. I don't believe that he is a quitter. There is not one quitting fiber in his body. So if I don't get to put him away, and he doesn't get to put me away, it's going to be a 5-round grinding ballet. That's what I believe. How do I get the W? I have to put him away or grind it out with him. Which would I prefer? I would much rather be able to put him away.
Right.
But let's see. He's a champ for a reason. He's the man for a reason, you know. So we just stay training and stay busy and do what we do come showtime.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great fight. Thank you so much for the time, Brandon. I really appreciate it, man.
You're awesome, Lucas. Thank you very much. Sherdog, thank you for being there since the very, very beginning. Before any of this was cool. Before anybody had a name for any of the moves. Thanks, Sherdog. I appreciate you guys a lot.